everyone, Elizabeth here. The Last Laugh delivers stories that leave you speechless. If you're here for it, hit subscribe and let's go.
I grew up as the family disappointment. My father Richard built a regional accounting firm over 30 years. My mother Patricia came from old money. My sister Victoria followed the golden path: Harvard MBA, marriage to a corporate attorney, Fortune 500 executive by 30. Then there was me, Emily, the failure. At 18, I announced I wanted to study computer science instead of business. Computer science? Mom's fork clattered. That's for people who can't handle real business. Dad shook his head. You'll never make real money coding. It's a saturated field. Victoria smirked. She just wants to play video games. I went anyway. State University full scholarship. They treated it like I'd joined a cult. Family gatherings became interrogations. Still doing that computer thing? Dad asked every Thanksgiving. Any real job prospects? Mom added at Christmas. Meanwhile, Victoria's updates were celebrated like holidays. Her promotion. Her corner office. Her bonus. Her perfect life. I graduated at 21 with bachelor's and master's degrees simultaneously. 3 job offers from major tech companies. I turned them all down. You turned down Google? Dad's voice rose. Do you understand how stupid that is? I'm starting my own company, I said quietly. The table erupted in laughter. A company. Victoria wiped tears from her eyes. With what capital? What experience? This is sad. Mom touched my hand with false sympathy. 90% of startups fail, honey. Take one of those real jobs before they're gone. I have investors, I said. More laughter. Let me guess, Dad said. Some college friend's parents threw you $5,000? That'll last 3 months. I didn't tell them about the $2.8 million in seed funding. I didn't mention MIT acquiring my thesis for $180,000. I didn't explain the 7 patents I'd filed. I just smiled. We'll see. That was 8 years ago. I named my company Nexus Solutions. AI-driven cybersecurity for healthcare systems. Revolutionary for hospitals protecting patient data. The first 2 years were brutal. 18-hour days. Sleeping in my office. 5 brilliant engineers who believed in the vision. Family gatherings became performance art in humiliation. At Victoria's 30th birthday, she announced her promotion to senior vice president. Everyone applauded. Dad gave a speech about her brilliance, her future. Mom turned to me. And Emily, any progress on your little project? It's going well. She's been saying that for 2 years, Victoria said loudly. At some point, admit failure and get a real job. Her husband Brandon nodded. The market's tough for tech. Might want to pivot before you're completely unemployed. I said nothing. I didn't tell them we'd just signed our first major hospital system. $4.7 million contract. 2 more networks in final negotiations. Why would I? They weren't interested in listening. Year 3, we grew from 5 employees to 23. Year 4, international clients. Year 5, acquisition offers from every major tech company. I turned them all down. You turned down Microsoft? Dad's voice was incredulous. They offered you real money. What are you holding out for? I'm not selling. This is why you'll never succeed. You don't understand business. You're too stubborn and too stupid to listen to people who actually know what they're doing. I hung up. I didn't tell him Microsoft offered $340 million. I didn't mention Amazon's $480 million offer. I didn't want to sell. Nexus was proving something. By year 6, we were valued at $1.2 billion. Unicorn status. My face was on TechCrunch, Bloomberg, Forbes. But my family didn't read those publications. At Dad's 65th birthday, he gave a long speech about legacy and success. He thanked Victoria for making him proud. He thanked his partners. He looked right past me. Victoria cornered me by the dessert table. You know, it's not too late to give up this tech fantasy. Brandon's firm is hiring paralegals. I could put in a word. I'm fine. Are you though? You're 30 years old. Still single. Still playing entrepreneur. What happens when this falls apart? You'll have nothing. I smiled politely. I'll manage. I didn't say I was in Fortune's most powerful women in tech that month. I didn't mention speaking at Davos. I didn't explain the documentary crew following me. My success made them angry. My silence made me invisible. Invisible was safer. 3 months ago, Dad announced his retirement party. 35 years building Chin and Associates. The planning became a family obsession. Mom organized it like a royal wedding. Victoria handled the guest list. Every important business person in the region. 2 weeks before the event, my invitation arrived. Formal cardstock. Embossed lettering. Business formal. Perhaps it's best you don't attend. Not, please come. Suggestion that I stay away. My phone buzzed. Victoria. Dad's investors are coming. The mayor. State legislators. This is big. We can't have you there in thrift store clothes talking about your failing tech thing. It would be embarrassing. I didn't respond. Another text. Mom agrees. This is Dad's night. Don't make it about you and your problems. I looked around my penthouse apartment. 1,500 square feet overlooking the city. The walls covered in actual art. The kind of place Mom would die for. She'd never been here. None of them had. They'd never asked. I typed one word. Understood. The next 2 weeks were busy. Nexus was finalizing partnerships with 3 major hospital networks. Combined deal value, $890 million over 5 years. Also talks with the Department of Defense about military medical facilities. And the fortune thing. 6 months earlier, journalist Rebecca Walsh reached out. Profile about women-led tech companies changing healthcare. She'd followed Nexus for 2 years. We did 3 interviews. She visited our offices. Spoke to my team investors' clients. Asked about my background, my family. Do they know, she asked. Your family. Do they know what you've built? No. Why not? Because they never asked. And I stopped trying to tell them. That must be lonely. It was. But lonely was better than being their disappointment. The article was scheduled for the week after Dad's party. Fortune told me I'd made the 40 under 40 list. Number 7. Cover feature with 3 CEOs. The photo shoot was last month. Professional everything. Designer dress. They shot me in our server room surrounded by technology protecting millions of patient records. I looked powerful. I looked successful. I looked nothing like the family failure. The retirement party was at the Grandview Hotel. Most expensive venue in the city. I arrived on time wearing a simple black dress. Not too flashy. Not too cheap. Perfectly invisible. The ballroom was packed. 300 people. City council members, business leaders, Dad's partners. String quartet. Champagne and hors d'oeuvres. I spotted my family immediately. Center of the room like royalty. Dad in his tuxedo. Mom in an expensive gown. Victoria in designer everything. I started toward them. Mom saw me first. Her eyes narrowed. She whispered to Victoria, who turned and stared. Victoria strode over, heels clicking. You came. Not pleased. Just stating fact. The invitation said perhaps. Not definitely. Emily. She glanced around nervously. Dad's partners are here. His biggest clients. The mayor is at our table. This is important. I'm aware. So maybe just stay in the back? Don't draw attention? Dad's giving a speech later and we can't have any awkwardness. I'll do my best. He studied my dress. Is that from Target? Does it matter? Try to look like you belong here. Smile. Network. Pretend you're successful even if you're not. She walked away. I made my way to the back. Found a spot near a column where I could observe without being noticed. The party continued. Dad glad-handed investors. Mom played gracious hostess. Victoria introduced her husband to anyone with power. Nobody looked for me. Nobody noticed I was there. 7:30 dinner was served. I wasn't assigned a table. I stayed standing. 8 o'clock, Dad took the microphone. His speech was beautiful. 35 years of building something meaningful. Clients who became friends. Partners who became family. And of course, none of this would be possible without my family. My wife Patricia, who believed in me from day one. My daughter Victoria, who inherited my business sense and made me proud every single day. Applause. Victoria stood smiling graciously. Victoria reminds me that success isn't about money. It's about doing meaningful work. Building something real. Making an impact. More applause. He didn't mention me. Not once. I felt the familiar ache. You are not enough. You will never be enough. I was about to leave when I saw movement near the entrance. A woman in professional attire. Camera equipment. Two people with her. One with a professional video camera, another with lighting gear. They were scanning the crowd. The woman approached a waiter, showed credentials, asked something. The waiter pointed directly at me. The woman walked through the crowd with purpose. People turned to look at the equipment. The videographer was filming. She reached me. Extended her hand. Emily Chin? Yes. I'm Rebecca Walsh, Fortune magazine. We've been trying to reach you. Your assistant said you'd be here. Conversations around us started dying. People stared. Rebecca continued louder. We're here to conduct the follow-up interview for your 40 Under 40 feature. The cover shoot ran last week, but we need additional footage for the documentary segment. Complete silence in my section. I'm sorry, I said quietly. This isn't a good time. I understand, but we're on a tight deadline. Your story is incredible. Our readers will be fascinated by how you built Nexus Solutions from a dorm room to $1.2 billion valuation. The youngest woman-led cybersecurity firm to reach unicorn status. Someone gasped. Rebecca didn't notice. And the timing is perfect with your DoD contract announcement and hospital network partnership. $890 million in new contracts. That cements Nexus as the industry leader. I could feel eyes on me. So many eyes. Rebecca, perhaps we could do this another time. Of course, of course. She pulled out her phone. But while I have you, the cover is absolutely stunning. Would you mind taking a quick photo with the advance copy? Her assistant produced a magazine. Fortune magazine. The cover showed 3 women. I was on the right, standing in front of server racks, arms crossed, looking directly at camera. The headline, 40 Under 40. The Tech Disruptors Changing Healthcare. My name underneath, Emily Chin, 30 Ho Nexus Solutions, $1.2 billion valuation. The ballroom had gone completely silent. Even the string quartet stopped. Rebecca held up the magazine proudly. This hits newsstands Monday, but we wanted you to have an advance copy. Congratulations, Emily. You're number 7 on the list. The only cybersecurity CEO in the top 10. I took the magazine with shaking hands. From across the room, my mother's voice. Panicked. That can't be right. Rebecca turned, smiling. I'm sorry. My family was approaching. Dad's face was red. Mom looked like she'd seen a ghost. Victoria's expression was frozen between shock and rage. There must be some mistake, Mom said, voice too loud. Our daughter Emily doesn't run a company. She does computer work. Small tech things. Rebecca's professional smile faltered. I'm sorry, are you Mrs. Chin? Emily's mother. I am. Then you must be incredibly proud. Emily's company is revolutionizing healthcare cybersecurity. We've been covering Nexus Solutions for 2 years. The growth has been extraordinary. Dad found his voice. What's the valuation you mentioned? $1.2 billion as of last month's funding round. Emily owns 67% of the company. She's one of the youngest self-made female billionaires in the tech sector. The number hung in the air. Victoria stepped forward. This is ridiculous. Emily's been playing entrepreneur for 8 years. She doesn't have investors. She doesn't have clients. She can't even afford nice clothes. Rebecca looked genuinely confused. I'm sorry, but I've personally toured Nexus headquarters. 85 employees. Offices in 4 countries. Client list including 17 of the top 20 hospital systems in America. Revenue last year was $340 million. That's impossible, Victoria said flatly. It's quite possible. I'm a senior journalist at Fortune magazine. I don't publish fiction. Every fact in Emily's profile has been verified by our research team. He turned to me. I'm starting to understand why you kept this quiet from your family. That must have been difficult. The mayor appeared beside Dad. Richard, is this true? Your daughter is the Nexus Solutions CEO. Dad's mouth opened. Closed. No sound. The mayor continued, I had dinner with the governor last week. He mentioned Nexus just won the contract for the state's entire healthcare system cybersecurity. 20-year deal. He said it was the most impressive proposal he'd ever seen. He laughed, clapping Dad's shoulder. You never mentioned your daughter was a tech titan. That's bigger than your whole firm. Whispers spread through the crowd. That's Emily Chin? The Nexus CEO? She turned down acquisition offers from Microsoft and Amazon. One of Dad's partners approached. Richard, I had no idea. My firm handles venture capital investments. Nexus has been on our radar for 3 years. We would have invested early if we'd known you had a connection. Another partner. The valuation is real? Over $1 billion. Rebecca, sensing she'd walked into something complicated, began backing away. Emily, I can see this is a family moment. Why don't we schedule that follow-up for next week? Congratulations again. She and her team left quickly. I stood there holding the Fortune magazine cover with my face on it. My entire family stared at me. The silence stretched. 300 guests pretended not to stare while absolutely staring. Dad spoke first. When were you going to tell us? I tried. 8 years ago. You laughed. You said you had investors. You didn't say you had millions. You didn't ask. You assumed I was delusional and stopped listening. Mom's voice was shrill. You let us think you were struggling. You let us worry about you. You never worried about me. You were embarrassed by me. There's a difference. Victoria stepped forward, face flushed. This is ridiculous. You're lying. You probably paid them to make this up. Some desperate attempt to look successful at Dad's party. I looked at my sister. Really looked at her. Victoria, your salary as SVP is $340,000 a year. That's impressive. You've worked hard for it. I respect that. She blinked, confused by the civility. My company's revenue last year was $340 million. That's 1,000 times your annual salary. Our profit margin was 34%. I personally took home $89 million in distributions. Her face went white. But you're right about one thing. The clothes. I do shop at normal stores. Because I don't need expensive things to prove I'm successful. I already know I am. One of Dad's partners laughed. A short bark he quickly covered. Dad's face was purple. You deliberately deceived us. No, Dad. I stopped sharing my life with people who made it clear they weren't interested. That's not deception. That's self-preservation. We're your family. Are you? When's the last time you asked about my work? Not to mock it. To actually ask. Silence. When's the last time you invited me to family dinner without making it clear I was the failure at the table? More silence. When's the last time you said you were proud of me? Dad's mouth worked. Nothing came out. I looked at Mom. You suggested I stay away from tonight. You said I'd embarrass you. I didn't mean. You meant exactly that. You've always meant it. The difference is that now you know I've been successful despite you, not because of you. And that makes you angry. The mayor cleared his throat awkwardly. I'll let you folks talk. He fled. Others started creating distance. Nobody wanted to watch this. Victoria found her voice. You think you're better than us now? No. I think I built something real while you told me I was stupid for trying. That's not better. That's just different. Brandon stepped forward. The legal implications here. If you're really worth that much, there are estate planning considerations. Family trusts. We should discuss. Stop, I said firmly. I'm not discussing my finances with you. Any of you. You had 8 years to be interested in my life. You chose mockery instead. Dad finally found real words. Emily, you're right. We should have listened. We should have supported you. But this, springing this on us at my retirement party, this is vindictive. I felt something break inside. Not my heart. Something harder. The last piece wanting their approval. I didn't spring anything on anyone. Fortune magazine came to interview me. I didn't invite them here. I didn't plan this. I came to your party even though you told me not to. I stood in the back. I stayed invisible. Just like you wanted. I held up the magazine cover. This is my life. The life I built while you told me I was wasting my potential. The success I achieved while you were ashamed of me. Mom's face crumpled. We were never ashamed. You told me not to come tonight. You said I'd embarrass you. What do you call that? She had no answer. I looked at Dad. You gave a speech about success. About meaningful work. About making an impact. You thanked Victoria for making you proud. You looked right past me. I didn't know, he said weakly. You didn't want to know. There's a difference. Around us, the party had completely stopped. 300 people pretending not to listen or openly staring. One of Dad's oldest clients approached. Richard, I think we should give you privacy. Beautiful party. Congratulations on your retirement. It was a kind exit. Others took it. The ballroom started clearing. Within 10 minutes it was just us. My parents. Victoria and Brandon. Me. And the Fortune magazine cover lying on a table like evidence. Victoria picked up the magazine with shaking hands. Opened it. Found the article. 4 full pages. Photos of me at Nexus headquarters. Charts showing growth. Quotes from industry leaders. Timeline of success. She read parts aloud, voice hollow. Chin bootstrapped Nexus Solutions with personal savings from her graduate thesis sale and early angel investments, turning $2.8 million in seed funding into a unicorn-status company in just 6 years. The company's proprietary AI-driven cybersecurity platform now protects over 40 million patient records across 17 hospital systems. Chen, who holds 7 patents in cybersecurity technology, declined acquisition offers from Microsoft, $340 million, Amazon, $480 million, and Google, terms undisclosed. Victoria looked up. You turned down almost $500 million. Those offers were 3 years ago. The company's worth more now. I'm building something bigger than a quick sale. Dad sat down heavily. All this time, you were actually successful? Yes. Despite your certainty that I'd fail. Brandon was reading over Victoria's shoulder. It says you're in talks with the Department of Defense. That's federal-level contracts. The partnership announcement is next month. We're adapting our healthcare AI for military medical facilities. 5-year contract. $680 million. Mom made a small sound. Almost like a sob. You must hate us, she whispered. I thought about it. Really thought. No. I don't hate you. I'm just tired of trying to prove I'm worthy of basic respect. Dad's voice was rough. What do you want from us? Nothing. I wanted your support 8 years ago. I wanted you to believe in me. I wanted you to be proud of me for trying, not just for succeeding. But you couldn't give me that. We can now, Mom said desperately. Can you? Or are you just impressed by the dollar amount? If Fortune hadn't shown up tonight, would you still think I was your embarrassing failure? The question hung there. Victoria closed the magazine. Set it down carefully. You're right. We treated you terribly. I treated you terribly. It was possibly the first genuine thing she'd said to me in a decade. I was jealous. You were always smarter than me. Tests, grades, everything came easier to you. I had to work twice as hard. And then you chose this weird path and I thought you were throwing it all away. I thought I'd finally won. She laughed bitterly. Turns out you lapped me while I was celebrating. Your success doesn't diminish because mine is different, I said. But it does, doesn't it? You just said your revenue is 1,000 times my salary. How am I supposed to feel about that? However you feel. But your feelings aren't my responsibility. I didn't build Nexus to compete with you. I built it because I loved the work. Dad stood. Walked to the window. Looked out at the city. I told you that you didn't understand business. I told you that you'd fail. I know. I was wrong. The words were so soft I almost didn't hear them. He turned to face me. I was completely wrong. And I'm sorry. It was the first time he'd ever apologized to me for anything. Mom's voice broke. I'm sorry too. I'm sorry we made you feel like you had to hide this. I'm sorry we weren't the parents you deserved. The invitation that told me not to come. Do you understand how that felt? Mom's face crumpled. I thought you'd be uncomfortable. I thought seeing all these successful people would make you feel worse about your situation. I was trying to protect you. From what? From feeling like a failure at your father's success party. I closed my eyes. I never felt like a failure. You made me feel like one. We talked for another hour. Real talk. Hard talk. The conversation we should have had 8 years ago. They asked about Nexus. Really asked. I told them about the early days. The struggles. The breakthroughs. The moments I almost gave up. Why didn't you tell us when things started succeeding? Dad asked. I did tell you. Every time I came home I tried to share. You weren't interested in details. You were interested in making sure I knew I was disappointing you. He flinched. And then, after a while, it felt good to have something that was just mine. Something you couldn't criticize or diminish. Something you couldn't take credit for. Victoria nodded slowly. Like I took credit for Dad's business sense. Like that. The worst part wasn't lack of support. It was active undermining. Every family gathering, you made sure I knew I was the failure. We were trying to motivate you, Mom said weakly. Humiliation isn't motivation. It's just cruelty. More silence. Finally, Dad spoke. What happens now? I don't know. I don't know if we can fix this. I don't know if I want to try. Emily. You told me I was stupid for turning down Google. For not understanding business. For being too stubborn. Do you know what I did instead? They waited. I built something that Google now wants to partner with. I created technology that Amazon studied for their own systems. I made decisions that every business analyst said were wrong, and they turned out to be exactly right. I picked up the Fortune magazine. This isn't luck. This isn't accident. This is 8 years of 18-hour days, strategic decisions, and building something meaningful. The same qualities you praised Victoria for. I had them too. You just refused to see them. Dad nodded slowly. You're absolutely right. So what happens now is up to you. You can be proud of what I've built. You can be part of my life going forward. Or you can keep being the people who told me to stay home. We want to be part of your life, Mom said quickly. Then act like it. Not because Fortune magazine says I'm successful. Because I'm your daughter and I've always been worth your time. Victoria stood. Walked over. For a moment I thought she might hug me. Instead she held out her hand. Congratulations. On everything you've built. You did it without us and that's remarkable. I shook her hand. Thank you. I'd like to learn more. About Nexus. About what you do. If you're willing to share. I'd like that. It wasn't forgiveness. Not yet. But it was a start. I left the party at 10 p.m. The ballroom was still decorated but empty except for hotel staff cleaning. My phone had been buzzing constantly. Messages from colleagues who'd heard. Congratulations. Interview requests. Partnership proposals. One message stood out. From my CFO Marcus. Boss, Fortune's website just posted the article. It's trending number 2. Your phone is going to explode tomorrow. Also, proud of you. You've earned this. I smiled. Another message. From Dr. Sarah Kim, my former MIT advisor. Just saw the Fortune cover. Called it 8 years ago. You were going to change the world. Your parents must be thrilled. I didn't know how to respond to that one. The next morning I woke to 847 new emails. Interview requests from Bloomberg, TechCrunch, Wall Street Journal. Partnership inquiries. Speaking invitations from conferences worldwide. And one email from my mother. Emily, I've read your Fortune article 3 times. I'm sorry doesn't cover it. But I am. Truly. Your father and I would like to take you to dinner this week. Just us. No performance. No agenda. Just parents trying to know their daughter. Would you consider it? Love, Mom. I stared at that email for a long time. My assistant knocked. Emily? The team is gathering for the morning meeting. And CNN is on line 3. They want you for a segment about women in tech. Tell CNN I'll call back. I need to respond to an email first. I typed, dinner works. But I choose the restaurant. And we talk about Nexus, really talk, or this doesn't happen. Emily. I hit send. 2 minutes later, deal. We're listening now. We should have been listening all along. The Fortune 40 Under 40 issue became one of their best-selling editions. My profile was shared 340,000 times. The documentary segment got 2 million views on YouTube. The publicity triggered another acquisition offer. A consortium offering $2.1 billion. I turned it down. Nexus announced the Department of Defense partnership in April. The ceremony was attended by 2 senators, the Secretary of Defense, and my entire team. My parents were there too. In the audience. Not at the VIP table. I'd earned that space from my employees who'd built this with me. But they were there. After the announcement, Dad found me backstage. I'm proud of you. I should have said that 8 years ago. I'm saying it now. Thank you. The investors I invited to my retirement party? 3 of them have called asking if I can introduce them to you. I smiled. What did you tell them? That they should go through your CFO like everyone else. That you're not in the business of family favors. Good answer. The Fortune magazine cover is framed in my office now. Not prominently, just on the wall behind my desk. A reminder of the moment everything changed. But next to it is something more important. A photo from Thanksgiving. My whole family smiling. Real smiles. Because that's the thing about power reversals and public validations and billion-dollar valuations. They're satisfying. They're vindicating. They prove you were right. But they're not what makes you whole. What makes you whole is building something meaningful. Surrounding yourself with people who believe in you. And, if you're very lucky, giving the people who hurt you the chance to do better. They won't always take it. But mine did. And that's worth more than any magazine cover could ever be.